Let's now bring in Carl Moore. He is an airline industry analyst and professor at McGill University. Carl, good afternoon, and thank you for speaking with us from the CTV News Channel. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So Canada's busiest airport is cutting approximately 500 jobs. Did you see this coming?
Oh, absolutely. I flew last week on Tuesday from Montreal to Toronto and visited with senior people at the Montreal airport and the Toronto airport to get a sense of what they'd done and to make it safer to travel. But in those conversations, I just heard about how business was down 95%. And in that case, you simply do not need the same number of people. And you see the passengers in Montreal and Toronto airports, where it was like not quite a ghost town, but not far from it.
Now, how are some of the airlines reacting to this reduced staff and reduced number of passengers right now?
Well, they're doing the same. I mean, Air Canada's laid off over 20,000 people out of about 30,000. WestJet, kind of similar percentages, where you simply don't need the number of pilots, counterstaff, flight attendants. And the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've gone out to Montreal Airport on Saturday while my wife's shopping at Provigo. I'm not allowed in, they're allowed one person at a time. So I drove the 12 minutes to the airport, talked to Air Canada counterstaff, and they weren't upset in the sense that they understood that it wasn't that Air Canada was being bad or WestJet. It is simply the volumes are not there. They just are not needed because the flights are down so dramatically. So, I mean, it's upsetting from a personal family level, but they understand absolutely from a business viewpoint, they simply do not need that many flights when not many Canadians and almost no foreigners are flying on Air Canada or WestJet.
You know, in this new normal, Carl, this whole experience of flying has changed so dramatically. And like you're saying, you were at the airport and you saw the number of passengers reduced to such a great degree. In fact, levels have dropped to the traffic levels of 1996, almost 25 years ago. How long do you think this will take for the airline industry to, recover from all of this?
At least a few years is what experts like IATA, which is the International Airline Transport Association, it's headquartered in Geneva and Montreal, and ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization, part of the CN, is headquartered here in Montreal. So all these organizations have done work with airlines for about 25 years now, talking to people there and experiencing last week flying on WestJet and on Air Canada. What you see is that incredibly difficult times for the airlines. You need to have into the 70s in terms of load levels, the number of seats which are filled on planes to make money, to merely get by as opposed to make a profit. And when you don't have people in the middle seat, it's 64, 65, 66%, depending on the type of plane. So it means that they can't make money without putting people in the center seats. But beyond that, Canadians are simply not traveling, and it's true around the world, and we don't have foreigners coming to Canada in very big numbers at all. Huge part of Canadian air transport is Americans coming up and other foreigners visiting us on business or on tourism. I think a central thing is the consumer confidence in Canada, indeed around the world. Are you willing to get on a plane and fly somewhere for holidays or for business? People aren't, because they're not entirely sure it's safe. So I think a vaccine and a sense that we're safe to be with other people on a plane or in a restaurant or wherever is going to be central to that returning. But on top of that, we have the biggest recession since the Depression that we're in now. So business travel is going to be down to save money. And we've discovered the joys of Zoom and Skype and things like that, where you go, do I need to travel down to Vancouver for an hour meeting, or can it come on Zoom? And it's hard to argue we can't do that anymore.
Lots of factors at play over here, but we'll have to leave it at that. Carl Moore, airline industry analyst and professor at McGill University. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure.